All right, hi, video 2 or 3 of 3 for this challenge. I wanted to walk you through how to calculate your calories or your macronutrient needs a day. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I'm not a nutritionist, amateur if anything. I'm not a doctor or a nurse or in the health care field. I'm a guy who has taken calculations out of a book, Flexible Dieting 2.0 by Chrissy May Cagney. Great book. Suggest you buy it. And I'm making a video for it so I can walk you through how to do it. There's other methods there's other good nutrition plans. Work with a nutritionist, that's great. Whole30, I believe in, is great. I like tracking macros because it gives me something to measure and compare and change when I need to change. So that's why I do it. But there's other good message disclaimer, not a nutritionist disclaimer. Do what you want with that information. I'm just a guy doing some calculations. So no matter what, we start our calculations with body weight. And that's where it's not so straightforward. And yes, it should be. You step on a scale, that's your body weight. But it doesn't always work if you are very underweight for your goals or very overweight for your goals, because it's going to skew the numbers. And you'll see that in a minute, but it's based off body weight, and then your protein and your fat is based off that. And actually your carbohydrates is based off that with a multiplier. So if we are starting high or low and we calculate from there, it's going to skew that high or low. So what you can do is, if you step on a scale, there's a couple ways. You can do it in the back end where you're adjusting your carbohydrate needs a day, or you can do it in the front end where conservatively you're adjusting that weight. What does conservatively mean? I don't know, 5%, 10%, depending. So for example, I am 192 pounds. 10% would be pretty aggressive. 19 pounds to gain or lose. That would be pretty aggressive. 5%, half that, 10 pounds, that's still pretty aggressive but reasonable. That would be a good way to start. So you could start with that number. You can make it up in the back end. It's up to you. You'll see this is kind of there's a little bit of art to the science. And that makes sense because you're running a lot of numbers and human metabolism is complicated. So, but you gotta start somewhere. So, we start with our body weight. And we need our body weight in kilograms. And that equals your body weight in pounds divided by 2.2 pounds per kilogram. Body weight in kilograms equals body weight in pounds divided by 2.2. I already did my math, so I'm just going to copy it over because my calculator is my phone and I'm talking at my phone. So, body weight in pounds, 192.5. That's why pull-ups are so hard for me right now, when I like walking around at about 180. Divided by 2.2 equals, where's my math page? 87.5. 87.5 kilograms is what I weigh. I weigh myself in kilograms, but I had to do the math because I know most people don't. So your daily protein requirement, we'll just remember those two numbers. 87.5 body weight in kilos, 192.5 body weight in pounds. Let's start with how many calories I need a day. Let's start there. We'll come back to our body weight in kilos. So how many calories I need a day? You take your body weight in pounds, 192.5, times a number. That number is between 11 and 16, and you could, fudge it from there. You can do decimals. I think I took 13. If you do my math and it's different, I picked a different number. But I think I did 13. That will equal your calories per day. For me, I got 2,500 calories I need per day. So we want to remember that number, 2,500. So I'm going to erase this. I'm going to rewrite 2,500. We'll use that number. I'm going to write 87.5. We'll use that number. I'm going to write 192.5. We're going to use that number. So these numbers, 11 through 16. 11 would be you're pretty sedentary. Office job, don't work out, walk from here to there, and that's it. 12 would be you exercise less than 5 hours a week. 13 would be you exercise 5 to 10 hours a week. 14, 10 to 15. So that's where you get into, from 13 and 14, that's where you kind of get most people. Like towards your 15, you're thinking like serious recreational fitness people. 15 to 20 hours a week, or you can think like competitive people, getting into like competitive in different sports too. 16, you're talking elite athletes, professional athletes, top of their game type people. And you can do decimals. So let's say I exercise in the 5 to 10 hours a week, and I'm just going to use a real world example. I work for the railroad where I'm walking around a good 4 hours a night. Maybe I want to bump my 13 up to a 13 and a half or a 14. That would be perfectly acceptable. Or you can think, other examples. I'm a cop, I'm a firefighter, I exercise this and I walk my dog 5 days a week. I'm in generally active other places. I'm a coach, stuff like that. So you can add a decimal, you can take away a decimal. If you're on the border, you can feel free to adjust those numbers, but I use 13. I got 2,500 calories a day. So with that, we start with protein. Protein grams of protein per day equals your body weight in kilos. For me, it's 87.5 times 2. That equals, for me, 175. grams of protein per day equals body weight in kilos times 2, 175 grams. Grams of protein per day. You take that number and you multiply it by 4, and you get your calories from protein a day. Did I write that down? Yes, 700. $700 calories per day from protein. Then we do fat. Fat's the easiest one to calculate. Fat grams equals your body weight in kilograms. 187.5. You end up with a decimal, you do what you want to round it. No set rule. You're going to see at the end why there's no set rules, but guidelines. These are all guidelines. 87.5 grams of fat per day. Fat is 9 calories per gram. Excuse me, equals 783 grams calories from fat per day. Grams of fat equals body weight in kilograms. You take that number times 9, you get your calories from fat per day. Now we come back to our 2500. So to figure out your carbohydrates, that's the more flexible one. We take our total calories per day. For me it was 2500 minus our calories from protein, 700, minus our calories from fat, 783, equals how many calories from carbohydrates we need a day. I got 1017 calories from carbs. Total daily requirement needs that we calculated in step 1 minus calories from protein minus calories from fat is our remaining calories per day. We take that number divided by 4 calories per gram equals 254 grams of carbohydrates per day. So we have 254, we have 87.5, and we have 175 for what we need a day. 13 minutes it took me to figure it out. Plus I did a lot of BSing before. So let's run it through again. First, find your total calories that, estimated that you need per day. To do that, we take our body weight in pounds times a lifestyle factor. That number is between 11 and 16. That will give us calories we need per day. We save that number. We take our body weight in kilograms times 2 gives us how many grams of protein we need a day. We take our body weight in kilograms, that's how many grams of fat we need a day. We take our total calorie needs minus our calories from protein minus our calories from fat, gives us our total calories left for carbohydrates. We divide that number by 4 and we get our estimated daily grams of carbohydrates. And that's how you do it. So here's where we get flexible. If you want to gain or lose weight, you add to this number, carbohydrates. That's where you get your extra calories from. And here's the thing. You can add to fat too. You could add to protein too. Fat and carbohydrates are where you're going to likely get those extra calories. Proteins to build muscle. Fat does stuff with vitamins, absorption, makes you feel more full. But when you talk, and different nerve stuff, I think. But when you talk about just straight up getting calories, fat gives you a lot of calories. And then your carbohydrates, that's the easy place to add. All your fruits are great sources. So that's where you add to or subtract from to get that. So the best way to do it is you take these numbers, you eat like that for 2 weeks, and you see where you are. If you're maintaining, we know that these numbers, your grams from carbohydrates, fat, protein, total daily requirements are right. If you gain weight, we know that one of those numbers is off a bit. If you change, one of those numbers is off, and that's okay. If you change in the direction that you want to, you can keep doing what you're doing. If you change in the direction that you don't want to, you need to add or subtract calories to meet that goal. And that's why I said at the beginning, this is a guideline of where to start. Eat for 2 weeks, see if you change. If we start at a good place, those 2 weeks will tell us if we're right or not. That's the only way to see it without major metabolic testing in a lab or a hospital or whatever, to know what you need a day for calories. It's to track it, eat it, and see. And then, of course, you change from there. There's other things to think about. Preference, I like lower carbohydrates and higher fat from there. That's fine. Some people like lower fat and higher carbohydrates. It'll do different things with absorption, but that's fine. Other things to think about is sources. So a nice thing about doing this is it's flexible. You can eat whatever you want as long as you hit those numbers. But it's going to be awful hard to hit those numbers off of ice cream and pizza. I pick those because that's what I want to eat every day. So I can have ice cream and pizza every once in a while, but if I eat like that every day, my tummy will not be full of volume. I will not get the vitamins I need, and I will be pretty miserable. Good things to do, eating fruit. Yeah, they're high in carbohydrates, but they're not as high in carbohydrates as candy, right? Plus they got other good things. Eating a bunch of vegetables are good. They have a lot of volume, not a lot of calories. Meeting your protein a day, however you want. Just know that usually protein comes with fat, so you have to be smart with your protein choices as well. There's a bunch of other stuff I was going to say, but I think that's good for now. Questions, email me. I'll do what I can to answer them. If you need help calculating, email me. I will help you. Beyond that, and minor advice that I probably already gave in this email, I will probably turn you to a nutritionist. We know one at our gym that I can turn you to, and I'm sure there's others. But I said in the beginning, I don't like doing diet plans, and I don't have a lot of time to do tracking for free. So it's something that if you need more help with, you might have to pay somebody to do, but you can usually find it reasonable. And I'll help you beyond what I don't have time for, or up to what I don't have time for. So yeah, questions, ask them. I think that's it though. Thanks. Bye.